It's February 28th, 2015. I don't give a fuck what color the dress is. And this is your Fortean Slip news.
You know, Chris, at the end of the newscast, I was going to mention that fucking dress, but you stole my fucking thunder, you asshole. Anyway, before we start, obviously the big news, and we're not going to read a story on it, but Leonard Nimoy has passed away.
At age, what, 83?
Yes, 83.
83 years young.
Of course, Mr. Nimoy meant a lot to a lot of people. When I was a kid, man, we watched Star Trek, like it was going out of style. So,
what is this Star Trek that you speak of? No, I spent just about every day as a child that it was on the reruns when I was a kid in the 80s with my father, because my father liked to watch it and make fun of it. So I would sit with him and watch it, and I've always been a fan of Star Trek and Spock, the character, the fucking logical fucking being, has all these conflicted things in his fucking head because he's half human, half Vulcan.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy shit.
Well,
green blood. Yeah. Come on now.
Well, it was the 60s. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
But Mr. Spock, or Mr. Nimoy, and I shared a birthday, March 26th, so I always remember for that. So on my birthday every year, I'm going to have to say live long and prosper, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Mr.
Spock, you'll be missed, I guess, by a lot of people. So anyway, in the news today, from the Daily Mail, now, you and I had a little discussion on how to pronounce this, but death by Dalek, Loch Ness Monster, or the Ghostbusters Marshmallow Man are now among the bizarre fates covered by Virgin Life Insurance. Virgin Money is offering customers insurance to cover freak accidents, including death by Dalek or Sharknado, even. Also, those afraid of being killed by a giant marshmallow man can now rest easy. A new life insurance policy is set to cover every eventuality. They even cover being crushed by a transformer, by the way.
That's
Virgin Money.
Amazing. I don't even know what to say about this story.
But it's real. It's true.
Oh, that's great.
Virgin Money will also pay out in the unfortunate event of being killed by Martian death rays or eaten by Loch Ness monsters. And in a nod to Ghostbusters, of course, being crushed by the giant marshmallow man is covered too in the bizarre list of acceptable causes of death by the insurer. Virgin Money is now offering its customers the opportunity to insure themselves against death by Dalek. Virgin Money is offering, I already read that line, but wacky as they are, there is a serious point, says the financial giant, as they hope it highlights just how little people take life insurance seriously in the first place. Virgin says they will pay out if you are killed by a shark whipped from the sea by a tornado and then deposited in the middle of the city, like B-movie horror film Sharknado. But they hope it will
on a side note, Steve,
yes.
I was flipping through Netflix one day, sitting there with my kid, and both of my kids, actually. And I see Sharknado on Netflix. And I'm a fucking elitist a lot of times when it comes to movies. And B movies like that, especially Sharknado. Like, I couldn't force myself to sit down and watch that. If, I was paid, I'd have a hard time. And I went on a rant about how anyone who watched that or wanted to watch that was just a deplorable human being, and that I couldn't understand why they even made the film. And then out of the corner of my eye, I caught my son's expression. and I felt like such a dirtbag.
I haven't watched Sharknado, but it sounds like it's right up my alley. So now back to the story. Wacky as they are, there is a serious point. I already read that line. But they hope it will encourage people to realize that while this is unlikely to happen, real chances of accidental death are far more likely than many realize. The 10 wacky ways to die are familiar to film and TV fans, as they take their inspiration from sci-fi like Doctor Who and Godzilla and Harry Potter and even Jack and the Beanstalk. However, Virgin would like to point out that falling from the beanstalk itself is not covered because the risks involved in taking on the task invalidates the policy. However, they will pay if the shark is taken from the sea and from a tornado and kills you.
That's awesome.
I have no idea. It's just, oh shit. Okay, here we go. This is going badly, Chris. From newscientist.com, bionic hands are a go. 3 men with serious nerve damage had their hands amputated and replaced by prosthetic ones that they can control with their minds. The procedure, dubbed Bionic Reconstruction, was carried out by Oscar Osman.
Which one's gonna try to jerk off first?
Yeah, I know.
Which one's gonna fucking try to trust the software and be like, is this thing gonna squeeze my cock too hard?
Like that Seinfeld episode, The Contest. It's my favorite episode of Seinfeld ever. But anyway. This was done at the University of Vienna, Austria. The men had all suffered accidents which damaged the brachial plexus, the bundle of nerve fibers that runs from the spine to the hand. Despite attempted repairs to those nerves, the arm and hand remained paralyzed. Can you imagine, though, your hand's been paralyzed for years, and you couldn't jack off, but now...
Now you've got a fucking robotic hand.
Bionically. Yes.
Now you got Luke Skywalker action on that shit.
No shit, man. It's got to be the best ever. I might just cut my fucking hand off. But still, there are some nerve fibers present, says Osman. The injury is so massive that there are only a few. This is just not enough to make the hand alive. They will never drive a hand, but they might drive a prosthetic hand. This approach works because the prosthetic hands comes with their own power source. Osman's patients plug their hands in to charge every night.
Hey. You gotta have a source of power.
USB, probably, I'm guessing. I wonder if they can play like music on their hands and have apps and shit. Relying on the electricity from the grid to power the hand means all the muscles and nerves need to do is send the right signals to a prosthetic. Before the operation, Osman's patients had to prepare their bodies and brains. First, he transplanted leg muscle into the arms to boost the signal from the remaining nerve fibers. 3 months later, after the nerves had grown into the new muscle, the men started training their brains. First, they practiced activating the muscle using an armband of sensors that picked up on electrical activity. Then they moved on to controlling a virtual arm. Finally, Osman amputated their hands and replaced them with a standard prosthesis under the control of the muscle sensors.
And this is pretty cool. I actually posted this, the video of this on the blog earlier this week, I believe. And it's pretty fucking wild what they've done. It's Steve Austin.
No shit, man.
The fucking the $6 billion man now. The 6 trillion fucking, I don't know how far the numbers go at this point.
I don't know, but at the time in the 70s when that was created, $6 million was like fucking shit tons of money, and now you probably couldn't even buy that hand for $6 million now.
Yeah, but they're doing it now.
Yep, it's cool stuff, man. And in our final story from redorbit.com, fighting African sex slavery with witchcraft. British courts have found difficulty in bringing African sex traffickers to justice because of a belief in black magic and juju spells makes victims afraid to testify. Now the UK government is seeking out the witch doctors responsible and forcing them to reverse the perceived curse. The African women, many, because you can do that in the UK.
Hey, yeah.
The African women, many of whom end up in the United Kingdom, believe that the work of witch doctors gives traffickers power over them. Kevin Hyland, England's first anti-slavery commissioner, is working with Nigerian law enforcement to begin forcing witch doctors to free victims from fear of infertility and even death. Much of sub-Saharan Africa has a belief in juju magic and the power of witch doctors, and psychologists say that...
They also believe in cutting out women's clitorises.
Yes, they do. And psychologists say that simply arguing the lack of evidence for the superstition is not enough to convince a believer to change their mind. Instead, the best chance of success in a court case is to fight fire with fire and have the spell reversed by the person who first administered it. The Independent reports that last year more than 100 Nigerian women were identified as having been trafficked into sexual slavery, and the British police had to spend 2 years trying to dispel the fears of women so that they could give evidence in the first case of its kind in Europe in 2011. In 2012, British police persuaded 3 Nigerian girls who had been trafficked using juju to give, I love that word, juju, to give evidence against juju magic, evidence against an individual named, oh God, Ozizua Osolasi.
I think right on that one.
I think so. Who ran the operation from his home in Britain. The 3 initially told police false stories before eventually being persuaded to overcome the witchcraft. It took time and trust and confidence, said law enforcement agent Eddie Fox. We never really know exactly what threats have been made during the rituals, but they were extremely concerned. He added that some of the Nigerian girls come from those areas where juju is held in such esteem and there's so much fear and belief in it. And that, Chris, is the news.
Wait, they fear Jews?
Jujus.
Jujus?
That's a double Jew, I guess. It's
works.
J-U. It's some sort of magic, apparently.
I know what the fuck juju is.